All right, so I had a viewer send me an email asking a question about some repair work that he needed to do to a tractor with this style PTO. So we're gonna try to answer his question right after this. Welcome back. If you haven't seen my videos before, I'm Rusty Oliver Man, and I had a viewer who was trying to work on his PTO unit on this style, which is the same that would be like on all the FLEETLINEs, 3 digits basically. The 1600 had a dry clutch like what's in there, but they have a different style cover, 1550, that sort of thing. But that's different. But his question was on this specifically. He's trying to get this cover off because he wants to replace, there's a rubber gasket back here. And I just so happen to have a tractor with this all disassembled, so we can take a look at it. So we'll go over there and maybe it will make more sense to him. I sent him a picture and circled on his pictures and stuff, but sometimes it's just easier to see it. So let's walk over there. All right, this here sad 77 is in line to have something done to it, but anyway, the cover is off of it. So probably really shouldn't have this hanging out in the open, but that's just the way my life works. So we've failed before. This clutch was not the greatest anyway, as this tractor has sat out in the woods for years and years, so it ain't no big loss. But anyway, so this one, the cover's already off. Consequently, here's the bolts up here that hold it on. There's 4 bolts that come from underneath to hold the cover on to the tractor. Naturally, this is usually way up in there, you see. So it's kind of embarrassing here because I swear this was just the other day that this is disassembled, but it's been laying here long enough that a root has grown through this bolt hole, so that's cool. But anyway, normally this would be on there, and to take it off is easy. 4 bolts, take it off. Your horseshoe gasket fits in here. It's kind of a trick to get it on there by yourself to put it back on, because you have a lot of stuff going on. And what I mean by that is, for one, usually when that gasket comes new, I don't think it's bent in the horseshoe shape. I think it's just a straight piece of rubber. The last one I bought, it's almost like a piece of hose. And anyway, but the trick is, when you put this back on, you're not just trying to line up 4 bolt holes, you're also trying to catch these 2 pins in the fork for the PTO here. So you got to kind of tilt your PTO forward, like this one is now, permanently stuck probably. But while you're putting it on, you're trying to hook that fork in these 2 things, and also hold your gasket in there till you can smash it flat and then get your bolts put up from the bottom. So it's not terribly difficult to take it apart and get that off of there, but it may be good to have an extra set of hands while you're trying to line it up and put it in there. Now, like this one, I pulled this out of here because motor swap on it. And so if you want to pull the PTO out of these, there's 3 bolts that go in there. I really should have put it back together, but I didn't do that. It's got a different motor sitting in it, but I can't remember. I don't think that it's bolted in the frame. I think it's just sitting in it right now, because we discovered severe sadness with it, if you remember that. This could probably be a running tractor if I would just take an afternoon and mess with it, because I got brand new main bearings for it. As this engine's supposed to be good, but it was very beat up on the pallet. But there's a lot of slop in the whole affair. I don't know if it's worth it or not. I was gonna try it just because I got money invested in that, but it's one of those where it kind of ticked me off too, and I walked away from it. And that's stupid. I need to get back after it. Hopefully it's not stuck, you know. That would be even more sad at this point, but I've had her taped up, but anything's possible, see? So, yeah, I don't know, foolishness, I guess. But it's better than the block I took out of it, so consequently there's the block that came out of it. And I believe it was all busted up. It's cracked, like a lot of them are, under through here, and just a rusty mess. That's actually the 77 block. This is a Super 77 block. But I really wanted to get this going, and then I was going to mount that number 4 picker on it that I have, which it has already has the mounts on it, so it obviously had one of those on it in its life. I really do think that this is a good possibility that this is the one great grandpa had, but I'll never know that for sure. So anyway, I like tractors, and hey, having another one, whether it's yours or not, is, you know what I'm saying. Mount it in the corn picker and don't worry about it. Is hop on it and go. So that's going to be a tremendous undertaking at some point, but yeah, we'll deal with that later. Several people keep asking about this. It's out here in the yard of failure. Everything that needs to be done and is started, but never finished. So I'm waiting on, we want to get back to that 550 diesel that belongs to that other guy and get it done. And then I can have that hole to put this tractor in, because we're going to have to split it and do a lot of stuff to it to at least attempt. I've got the new oil pump. I'm going to try to just split it, flip it upside down, clutch, oil pump, whatever, and then put it back together and see how it is then. And if it's a total piece of garbage, we'll overhaul it later. But if it runs and moves, it's at least you know, easier to deal with than something you got to fork around all the time. 1955, I really wanted to get on that project, but there's just so much stuff that keeps coming around. I never get it done. Forklifts the same way. Parts tractor needs to go out to the, you know, cemetery out here. Brown car, got all the stuff to do it, just need the time, motivation. So yeah, 1600. There you can see it also has the dry style clutch, and it does have a U-shaped horseshoe gasket, but the cover is a different style. But your procedure is basically the same. You know, taking it off is going to be easier than putting it back together. This one, like so many, has been busted up. See, got a hole in it. So that ain't nothing uncommon. I think the guy who sent me the question, his actually had a hole in the back cover of the one he was showing, but a lot of times that was from this swinging down, bang, cracks your cover, chucks out pieces. But yeah, different cover, but procedure the same. 4 bolts, line up the fork when you put it back together. Extra set of hands, probably a good idea. This is another feller that I really wanted to get to and see how bad it really was. And I don't know, it's supposed to have a spun main bearing. I've never even crawled under and looked at it, to be honest with you. It's one of those that really aggravated me, so I just left it alone and never went back to it. But maybe this will be the year. Maybe this will be the year I get tired of them all and just sell a bunch of them. I don't know. 1850 is another one. Something needs to be done with it. I just haven't had time to even fool with it. That's a major project. As you remember, it was totally disassembled, and some stuff was missing, but I believe I have everything to put it back together. But we're gonna have to build a motor. I mean, the motor's junk, or find us a combine engine and swap the bracketry necessary over. I got a guy who needs an oil pan on his 1850, and I was just gonna give him this one, swap, but I'm not so sure now. Thinking about it, I don't think you can get the oil pan out through the bottom of the frame without pulling the motor on an 1850. I cannot remember, but I'm just thinking because of your motor mount style that it's not going to happen. If anybody knows that for sure and has done one in recent times, like, let me know, because that's kind of holding up my project. I can't even practice on this one because the motor's just sitting in the frame. It's not bolted down, and I don't want to start tearing his apart until I'm sure I can go right back together. His has got that, well, this one doesn't even have the plug in it anymore, but the oil pan's aluminum, and the threads are cracked and it's leaking oil, so we got to get that fixed. But yeah, I have every piece for these. I got these fenders in that deal with the 1600. The guy had them, and I gave him, I don't remember, extra couple $100 or something, and they went on the truck with the tractor. There's the hydropower 4.1, because if you don't know, the input shaft is slightly shorter, I believe, if I remember right, on these, and the other one's a little bit longer, so you need stuff to start with there. And I've got enough of these laying around that I can build several of them. But I needed, for a long time, what I needed really was this piece here. I didn't have that connector piece, the bell housing for this. So consequently, that's the same one you need if you do a Cummins conversion. You need that style bell housing, I guess you'd call it. I call it a bell housing, the clutch fork housing, because this has, there's actually another piece here that covers the flywheel. So it's a combination of stuff, but we'll get this figured out at some point. It's just not, you know, when you got $4 corn, stuff like this is not a priority, you know. And we got a bunch of lounging cows out in the sunshine. They came out here to get some rays, I guess. But whenever they're laying down, I'm on board, because they're not causing trouble. So yeah, we're still doing pretty good. I've got over here, I've got what, 3, 6, 7 bales. So, and then I've got another 30 or some or more on the other side of the place. And then I've got some bought from a guy I just have to go get there in his shed. So we should be good on hay till spring. I was kind of nervous, but that red cow is licking that other cow. I don't know if you have a friend like that that would just, okay. So anyway, we're on the downhill slide towards spring, is what I'm saying. And probably need to load up some and liquidate. Prices are pretty good on cattle right now, so. And I want to get rid of some of the oldest, you know, ones. That red one over there, she hasn't had a calf in 2 years, you know. I always try to give them one more chance, but she's out of chances, unfortunately. So, which is strange, because that red one and they're the same, about the same age, you know. We had a bull one time that was supposed to be a guaranteed Angus bull, and he had 2 red children, so you know how that goes. But anyway, this isn't even all of them. I wonder where the rest of them are. They're probably off causing, oh, they're way down there. I see them behind me. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check out that situation down there, because I'm wondering if that is a cow that has just given birth and she's licking on the newborn calf. I'm not exactly sure. I can't tell from here, but we're gonna have to investigate that. Or if it's just a cow laying down and another cow licking it for some reason. I guess it is Valentine's Day. Maybe they're in a amorous mood. I don't know. I've had a few people leave comments on old videos about this, and I thought we talked about that at some point, but this is just an 88 that's kind of Well, it's not worth it for me to move this tire. But essentially what it is, I pulled this 88 out of a woods. It was on the internet, and it was a terrible weather day. I remember that. And the wheels were set out wide on it. It did not have tires on it. It just had cast centers on it. And this person did not have a loader. It was actually a woman, and like I said, there was nobody was prepared. I brought a trailer and I thought we could get it on there. I had a winch, and it was a lot of work, and I finally got it up on there. I actually had, for whatever reason, Dad's pickup, which is only 2-wheel drive, so this person had to pull me all the way out of the place once I got it loaded up. But it did not have a motor in it, and like I said, it had those 2 hubs on it. I have since put that set of duals on to move it around. But anyway, I originally had bought this for some parts. It had a few things on it still that I thought were, you know, usable. I've taken them off, obviously. I was hoping that the drawbar was usable, because mine on the 88 is not very good, but this one is a piece of garbage, so that didn't work out. But what I thought was neat about this tractor is it came with the PTO delete. I mean, that's the factory PTO delete. It also had hydraulics, which means that in there should be a short shaft. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I took the hydraulic unit off. It was a Series 1, all cast iron. And then this plate, I think, was on my Super 77, where a guy took a hydraulic unit and then he just tore it all apart because he wanted to use it for tractor pulling. Which is what I thought maybe this whole setup would be, you know, worth for somebody to have, because it's got PTO delete already. It's got disc brakes. It just doesn't have a lot of beauty going on for it, but that's another project I don't need. It's just been sitting here, and then it's got an engine in it out of another 88 sitting in there, so it's got an equalizer bar. I guess I should probably keep that. But anyway, why do I keep the things I keep? Well, they ain't making these anymore. And like I said, if somebody wanted to make a tractor puller, this would be a good candidate, because you're not destroying a complete tractor. You can just start with this and build it up. But yeah, I guess if we're going to go back to the subject of PTO, which is the whole point of making this video, before I just started rambling, that's your later style wet type PTO, where this cast housing has an O-ring on it, and there's 4 bolts from this end. You pull it off and it will have some oil in it. And then the procedure, like for pulling the PTO out, is different, because there's a snap ring you can take out between the cover thing that goes in there, and I don't think I have one of those out to show you, but you know, then you can pull the long shaft out. Anyway, it's a different setup. I don't know that it's better or worse. I guess they were thinking that you wouldn't burn up your PTO discs if they were running in oil. However, it has this secondary side effect that these seem to always want to creep, you know, whether it be from oil drag or whatever. They still do require adjustment. You can burn them out just like anything else. That's what the pipe plug's for. Someone asked about that, adjusting PTOs on these. Like those old style, like what was in that 77, you just took out shims to tighten it up. This one's actually got that lock ring with a spring pin, and you work through that top hole and you push in the pin and then rotate the ring. Some people try to do it with two things. I just use a big screwdriver, and you can usually hold it back enough and then kind of twist it and kick the ring over the pin, and then just keep doing that till you get where you need to go. But yeah, I mean, this also was available as dual speed PTO, the same style housing, you know, but they don't all have that just because it has this, you know. You have to look in there. If it doesn't have that, it has a plug back in there, like a piece of plastic, I believe, if I remember right. But anyway, this tractor does not have dual speed PTO. It was not ordered with it according to the build card, and Grandpa never would have had it put on, so I'm sure of that. I gotta look though. I'm thinking that our 1650 might have dual speed PTO. Not that I would ever use it, but just interesting things. This project too has dwindled or drug on way too long. I don't like it being apart that much, but I just haven't had time to deal with it. And now that it's all probably good and rusty, I'm just, well, play ball with me, tractor. I want to dump everything on the ground, you know. Oh, that's already rusty, but so I need to take this off and clean it up again, I'd say. But these liners are not great. I can feel scoring in them, and I just feel like while it's apart, a guy might ought just put different liners in it, even though this is a brand new motor. I mean, I also thought about maybe trying to like hone them, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to do something about this today. That don't fly with me, the flash rusting or surface rusting. I knew it would do that though, being apart. The old Super 77 hasn't been started in a while. I should probably try to do that again so that the pump doesn't stick. But she's a tired horse too. I really need to build a motor for it. I've got another block that I bought for it, but it turned out to be cracked as well. So even though I specifically said, is it cracked? I guess that means something different to certain people than it does to me. You know, to me that means it's not cracked, but I guess some people think that it means I'll take your money anyway. So I don't know what we'll do, if we'll build on that block or this block, but I don't know. That's depressing, you know. I totally restored it and everything was going great, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And then one day that block opened up like a zipper. It was like somebody did a really good job of hiding what was cracked. And then when I got it good and hot, that's when she opened up and let loose. So buyer beware there too, I guess. Well, this is probably a very short video full of nonsense, just me talking, but yeah, I wanted to answer that guy's question because I don't know that my email really made much sense. Sometimes, like I said, it's just better to see it. Yeah, don't really know what else to say there. Springtime is coming, friends, so we got to get everything ready to roll, and hopefully, you know, it didn't fall apart in the shed. You know, sometimes equipment seems to do that, but I think we're in pretty good shape. It's going to be here before we know it, so I guess everybody gets psyched up for that. As always, if you enjoy my videos, give them a thumbs up. Leave a comment and tell me how dumb you think I am. Or if by some slim chance you liked it, say that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.